Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the school board meeting. Would you all please rise for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have a quorum. Any changes to the agenda?
You have the most updated agenda with the changes highlighted.
Very good, thank you, sir. And moving right along is the best part of the evening, or at least for me. So accolades.
Each year, we give the teaching staff of the school district the opportunity to select one and only one student for the entirety of the year. And that student receives a superintendent award for a variety of reasons, but generally they're just great students. And this is the one opportunity that teachers get to brag in front of the school board about the student. So we will start off tonight. We have Owen Casey and his teacher, Mr. Molly. Come on up here, please. All right.
All right. First, I would like to thank families for coming. I'm super glad to have this opportunity to share. So, dear parents and guardians of Owen Casey, despite our short time together, I have enjoyed the time I have had to teach Owen. Owen has shown strong curiosity, a strong moral compass, a wonderfully artistic side with a good humor, and a strong work ethic. I can depend on Owen to be working on the assignment at hand and to ask questions that are pertinent and often enlightening. Owen's positivity is radiating, helping to create an overall classroom culture that is encouraging and nurturing. As a reliable classroom leader, I know I can look to Owen to be setting the example of on-task behavior and meaningful engagement with the lesson. Owen has a wonderful curiosity and a great many subjects. He is a student who wants to learn and enjoys the seemingly endless threads of knowledge he needs to pull to unravel the sweater of wisdom. Owen is Johnny on the spot with meaningful questions that require a deeper dive into a topic than just the surface level. If a question sparks more question, he has the drive to ask the next clarifying question, and the next one, and so on, until finally I have to tell him we don't have the time to expand any further. As a 6th grade student, I rely on Owen to help and set the pace and expectation to our 5th graders, and there is no student I would entrust with this task more than Owen. Owen is self-motivating and self-regulating, and has avoided the pitfalls that start to trap so many a 6th grader. As pseudo-middle schoolers, many a 6th grader is encompassed by the drama of the day, and sadly, many a 5th grader are being pulled into this drama orbit. Owen has showed the ability to avoid these distractions and remain unbothered by the melee that unfolds in the 5th and 6th grade rumor mill. Lastly, Owen has demonstrated a great humor and an artistic side that I hope he gets to explore as his educational journey continues. His flip books often crack a smile or a good-hearted guffaw, displaying a complex understanding of satire and irony uncommon amongst his peers. It has been a pleasure to have Owen as a leader amongst his peers, and with a great attitude and even greater personality. I am envious of his future teachers at the next level who get to see the places his curiosity and drive will take him, but I am grateful for the time that I have to see it firsthand. Congratulations, Owen.
And remember to stick around. We'll get a group photo of everybody at the end. Next I have Ms. Rodriguez and her student Paisley Hubert. This one. first time I face this way, so you choose however you want to orient
Do you
yourself.
want to go this way? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. To the family of Paisley Huber, it is with great pride that I present Paisley with my Superintendent Award for the 2025-2026 school year. Choosing a recipient so early in the year can often be challenging, as we are still getting to know our students. However, in Paisley's case, the decision came easily. This speaks volumes about the impact she has already made, not just on me, but our other two teachers as well, who wholeheartedly agreed she was the perfect choice. Paisley is an outstanding student and an exceptional classmate. She consistently offers a helping hand, often before it's even asked for, and approaches every challenge with enthusiasm and determination. Even when she's unsure, she gives her best effort and never backs down. Her attention to detail in every assignment is exceptional, and she takes pride in ensuring that her work is thorough and complete. What I admire most about Paisley is her maturity. From the first time I worked with her through cheer to now in the classroom, she has shown remarkable growth in her decision making. This year, she has risen above drama, a challenge that has affected this group in the past, and has remained a positive influence on her peers. She manages to be friends with everyone in a way that fosters positivity rather than conflict. I am confident Paisley will continue to lead by example throughout the school year. Her grace, patience, and strong moral compass set her apart, and I truly believe she can accomplish anything she sets her mind to. Thank you, Paisley, for such an incredible start to the year. You are a student I know I can always count on, and I look forward to seeing all that you will achieve.
Next, I have Denise Merriquin and her teacher, Mr. Daly.
To parents and family of Denise Merriquin, it is my absolute honor to present your daughter with the October 2025 Superintendent's Award. This is my first year teaching Denise, but after my first week in the district, I was told to keep an eye out for her because amazing things were to come. Specifically, remember Mrs. Plagman giving her a glowing recommendation before I'd even met her. As I was moving into the classroom from being an IA, Denise was headed to Germany to take her talents abroad. Upon her return, we sat down for an hour-long interview detailing her time, and that was the first time I really got to witness her ambition. About halfway through the interview, she remembered a project she was tasked with and brought it up for a quick brainstorm before hopping right back into her Germany story. I finally have Denise in the classroom this year, and it has been a delight. Not only is Denise our high school ASB president, she's also our Red Cross Blood Program student leader, such a hard thing to say, and a photographer on the yearbook staff. Watching her handle all of these responsibilities while maintaining her schoolwork and social life is inspiring. She makes it look effortless. She is currently enrolled in a class we have partnered with at Lawrence Hospital, so we're currently playing catch up with ASB, because that's during her leadership period. But I will get her back next semester, so we can stop our after school sessions. To her parents, you've raised a remarkable young woman, a person that is thoughtful, kind, and ambitious. You should feel incredibly proud. When she sets off into the world, I know her impact will make it a better place. Denise exudes joy and inclusivity wherever she roams, most times found with a smile on her face and a giggle in her throat. She is a beacon of positivity in our school community. Denise, I am so proud of you and cannot wait to see what this year and your future holds for you. With your determination, you'll be able to accomplish anything you set your mind to, moving with integrity and grace till the end. I'm grateful to be able to witness your magic firsthand and for the opportunity to help foster your leadership skills. Thank you for your thoughtfulness, your humor, and for just being you. We're lucky to have you.
Last but not least, we have Mr. Smart and his student William Chivers.
Which side would you like? Up to you. Okay, I've got thank you for all being here. To the parents and family of Lillian Shivers, it is my honor to nominate Lily as an 8th grade student for the Superintendent Award. It is my first time I've met her. It was a privilege meeting her last year in my woodshop class. This year, I am fortunate to have her again in my 7th period class. In both settings, she has consistently shown herself to be a remarkable student and a positive presence in my classroom. Lillian brings uplifting spirit in everything she does. She is always willing to help others, whether it be encouraging a classmate, assisting with a project, or simply sharing an upbeat attitude. Her enthusiasm is contagious, creating an environment with others who feel supported and motivated to do their best. What stands out most about Lily is her ability to inspire others around her. She demonstrates the kind of effort, character, and joy of learning that make it a true role model for her peers. Lillian approaches challenges and determination with optimism, setting a wonderful example on how a positive attitude can influence success. For those reasons, I believe Lily is an outstanding choice for my recommendation. She embodies the qualities that the Superintendent Award seeks to honor: effort, character, positive engagement with both her peers and staff. It is my privilege to recommend her for this well-deserved acknowledgement.
If we could get those students and teachers up here one more time, don't sit down.
Oh, we're gonna all come up. We don't. Come on, we're gonna get all together.
Cormac and I in the back.
You gotta go in the front though, don't you? You're not tall enough.
Okay, squeeze in just a
Oh,
little
here,
bit.
I'll squeeze in with you. Squeeze into him, you squeeze in.
Okay, everybody
Yeah,
ready?
I'll try it.
We're gonna take a few pictures to try and get you, everybody smiling and looking at the camera so your parents will be happy. Ready, and go. Thank you.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Well, Mrs. Lasky, that's gonna be a hard one to
Yeah, I'm sorry.
follow, but, good luck.
Nothing I'm saying is about to be nearly as exciting, but I hope it brings a little bit of excitement to our superintendent, Mr. Zumke. Last month, I was here to sort our 2 new board members into their houses, and I can't believe we let John go this long without getting into a house. So today is the day. I will remind you, Haruma is the house of empathy, Hazelik is the house of camaraderie, Candid to Me is the house of innovation, and Determinaso is all about determination. So all you have to do is click the wheel, and then it will spin.
The wheel.
Ooh, Haruma!
Haruma.
Good choice. Thank you.
You'll get a t-shirt too.
Community comments.
Yes, there were some out there. Just a moment, please.
Okay, our first community comment is gonna be Sam Howell. Sam here?
I am.
There she is.
I'm just here to listen to what they have to say about the special education. There's a Callahan church this year, and I'm here to support what she has. And then if I can make a comment after that, I just might appreciate that. So.
Okay, Sam, thank you. community comment's going to be David McKenna. Kennan?
Yeah, I'm also here. If Callahan can go first.
Pardon?
Can Callahan Church go first? 'Cause
Okay.
I'm here to support her and also speak.
Okay. Callahan.
Would you like me to face you, or does it matter?
You can face the audience if you like.
So I'm here to talk about the Special Education Board. That's it. In my recent years at the Reedsport Community Charter High School, I have observed many shortcomings in the special education department. Our resource room teachers in the past have been failed by their supports to the point that 2 have had to quit. Between the regular work of a core teacher and writing/reading over IEPs, these teachers are expected to do far more work than is manageable. Advocating for students shouldn't have to compete with lesson planning, grading, and classroom management for order of importance. In order for our students to get a proper education with the support they need, our educators need to have the support needed to properly assist their students. I believe one part of this is the ability to emotionally regulate. One good example is the Safe Space. In the 2023 to 2024 school year, our Safe Space class, the room where students could go to properly manage their emotions, was taken away from students for lack of funding. This has been detrimental for our students. The lack of space for regulating emotions has led to not only more work for our resource room teacher, but our core teachers too. One good example of this is a student in the sophomore class. This student consistently leaves school before the end of first period for meltdowns that could be easily managed by a teacher in the Safe Space instead of the resource room teacher who was defaulted to as a replacement. Furthermore, our IAs are undertrained and understaffed. They need more special ed training to be able to effectively manage the students that they need to manage one-on-one every day. These faults make it so students don't get the support they need from teachers in order to thrive. This and my previous point are just a couple reasons why our educators need more support if we want our students, especially our IEP students, to succeed.
Thank you.
So I'm here, I'm David McKenna. I'm Miss Misty's husband. And I'm not here to represent her. I'm here as a parent. I'm here as a parent of 3 kids with special needs. And I feel like it's important that these kids have added support. We've been here for about 5 years, and our 3 special needs sons, whom we adopted at birth, have had significant challenges, especially in school. And sorry. This really hits home for me. We have struggled, and in a lot of ways they haven't gotten the support that they needed. A lot of it may be due to underfunding, a lot may be due to ignorance, a lot may be due to just lack of training. But it's been difficult to help get the support that we know is out there in other school districts. Our oldest son, he was here for 9th grade, and then we ended up transferring him to North Bend because we knew he could get the supports there. The North Bend School District has been phenomenal. They are very well organized. They have it figured out. Not to say that we haven't figured out a lot of things here, because we have, and I've seen that, and I've seen things work, and I've seen things work really well. It's just been very challenging to work against a culture that doesn't want to change, doesn't want to change their mindset, doesn't want to change the way things have been done. And one of those things is that this district needs more funding, it needs more resources, it needs more training, it needs more awareness of these kids that aren't lazy, they're not stupid, they're not sped. These are kids with real challenges, with real deficiencies. Just to name off a few of the deficiencies of my kids: bipolar, ADHD, autism, hearing issues, and I could list off probably 5 or 6 more. But these kids, they're not stupid, they're not lazy, they lack, these core abilities to be able to focus in class, to be able to manage their time, to be able to, complete assignments in a timely manner. They can't keep up with neurotypical students. They can't. And it's not their fault. I know stories of kids in this district that have, also trauma. Trauma is a huge issue with a lot of these kids that have been abused as children, have been, it's the things that they've dealt with at home that make it very, very difficult for them to come into a school setting, be able to sit down and learn for 7-8 hours a day. It's nigh on to impossible for some of these kids. And I just want to be a voice for the parents that are struggling to get supports. And I believe Miss Robin here, I think she's doing a great job, but she doesn't have the support that she needs. My wife has been doing this for 2 years, and because of various issues could not continue to do it. Not because she didn't want to. She didn't have to do it. She doesn't have to work. I make well enough money for us to live. But she's so passionate about this and has spent 19 years raising 3 sons with special needs, and she understands special needs and can help and has helped. It's great to see so many success stories of kids that were not getting the support that they needed, but through her efforts, we're able to get those supports. We're able to get the emotional support, where her room became this safe place that Callahan is talking about, where they're not going to be judged, they're not going to be told that they're stupid, they're not going to be told that they're lazy, or they just can't cut it. And I appreciate everything that she's done, and I appreciate everything that everyone is doing here, because I feel like the administration here, by and large, is trying to help, but there is more that is needed, and I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you. Sam Howell,
Yes, can I stay here?
you may.
Okay. Thank you for hearing me, and I just want to ask a show of hands, how many people have challenged children? So we all kind of have a good idea. But when you have a challenged child, you count on the people that are in his village, and that would be everyone at the schools. And it's very important that everything stay, no changes, not a lot of changes. And when we lost Miss Misty, it was pretty big change to at least my kid. And so I am thankful to have a lot of extra support around him so that he doesn't have the meltdowns and everything like the other kids don't have access to, the people to support him and everything. And so that if you just do a little bit of a change, then the kids react to it. And it's just really hard to watch and to stay on top of it, because it's just something can snap in just a second. And you just need to be there for them. And it's not like being in a regular classroom that, you have like 20 kids or whatever, even if it's just the parents coming in, like I've insisted on, I come in, which they don't mind at all, and I let them know how my kid is doing or what he is doing and what he needs, what you can do to help him out and to help in return, it helps yourself. And so we've been blessed with the extra support in the village, and we just want to thank the school for everything that they've done. But please don't cut any corners.
Thank you, Sam. Is there anything on the computer, John?
No, but I think I got one written on that we don't have a comment card for. Mr. Francis, did you have a community comment you wanted to?
Yeah,
invite the board?
I'll keep it super brief. It's just prior to maybe the next meeting or so. So Mr. Hewling and myself, we talked to the library on this past Thursday. I don't know if y'all got a chance to see what transpired, but I had brought in some local professionals, some mechanics and fire crews and a surfman in the Coast Guard and a couple others. But this is my first initial round where I can expose my juniors that I had first period to the first set of careers that I wanted to have them introduced to. And I feel like it went pretty well. So, and I invited, the admin, and I even had a couple of other teachers just kind of floating around. They're like, yeah, we need some more of that. Okay, why don't we go sell this to the board? Okay, when do you want me to get squeezed in? How about Wednesday? Okay. So, for my next round, which I'm hoping sometime in November, I would like to do it the first week, but I could probably make it like, I know the meeting's on the 12th. And with this being on a Thursday, it actually cut my class time from 57 minutes to 50 minutes. So if I could maybe do it on like a Wednesday or some other day where I get those extra minutes, would you all be interested in attending? It's an 8 a.m. call, but I have other options too. So got a lot of other new things going on there. So this is really just an opportunity to send you all a formal invite.
And what's it for? Are you indoctrinating the kids and?
So it's a careers and finance class, yeah, it's a graduation requirement, so a lot of mine had already taken like finance, but I figured that's gonna be a second semester deal, who gets, what next term, but I wanted to have one every month until the end of the term, and so this one's gonna include medical and law enforcement, fire service said they would like to come on back again. Not to say that other guests wouldn't come back too, and also the financial district. So my goal is if they get exposed to all of these professionals that are local and even regional, it just helps them kind of open their eyes and see what's out there and what they need to do to be prepared. So it's just something I kind of grew up with back in the 90s when I was in school. The more people you bring in that are the experts, the more I don't have to be the expert in the room. Bring in some experts. So
If you could get a definite date and time, I would love to attend.
Okay.
If you can't attend in November, could you?
There'll be another one in December as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's other opportunities if those that can't make it. But, at least, one.
Mr. Francis, if you'll send those dates to myself and Charmin, we will pass them along to the board as a formal invitation on your behalf.
Okay,
Sure.
sounds great.
Sounds great.
That was it.
Thank you.
All right.
Anything on the screen, John?
Charmin and Tosh, do you have any comments?
No.
Nope.
Well, those that presented comments, thank you very much. And speaking for myself only on the board, I was talking with our superintendent earlier about the SPED program, and we definitely do have to find some answers. It breaks my heart that we can't be competitive with some of our life skills programs and some of our classes for our sped kids like the bigger schools have. But, you know, again, like they say, we're talking about money, and our finance director, Rachel Amos, gets awful tired of me calling her up and begging for more money when there's still money to be had. But we know this is a need, and we're definitely looking for, you know, places to get this money so that we can improve our program. So thank you for that.
Is there any way I can suggest an idea? I suggested one to Robin a while ago, and I think it might be a good one to help improve our special education system.
Sure.
So the students usually have two separate genres of needs, one for life skills and one for educational skills. I suggested this to Robin, maybe make two separate classes, because that would reduce the stress on the teacher a lot. Because you wouldn't have the behavioral students in the same class as the kids who need the educational skills, because that's where a lot of the stress for the teacher comes from.
So you need another teacher?
If you can find room for that, yes, but I think it would help. A safe space room upstairs, since that's not in use anymore, would be a good place for that, if you could find a teacher for it. But that's speaking if you can find a teacher. If you can't, then you can't. But that would be a good solution if you could afford that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Now that I've backed up the bus right up to Rachel, we'll hear from our business manager, Rachel Amos.
Am I hearing you're gonna be driving over me?
No.
Okay.
Just giving you a place that you can enter the back door of the bus.
Thank you. Okay. So we are up to 2 months of actuals for this fiscal year, and as you know, haven't found any money yet, so we haven't seen any good rainbows or lots of gold at the end of them so far. So we have budgeted to end the fiscal year at $1 million, and we're being conservative in our numbers, and right now we're projected at 7%, which is $700,000. So we are continuing to look at our spending for the year. Obviously, the enrollment is the big factor of why our number is where it's at right now, because we did an adjustment for our enrollment based on the enrollment drop from where our estimate was when we did our January estimate of membership and revenue and where we started the school year. So that equated to about a $250,000 difference in our state school fund for the year. There was a question from, I believe, Ms. Clardy about the 600 objects on the general fund cash flow page. So the reason why it's called other for 600 objects is just because the program budgeting and accounting manual calls it other. They literally call it other objects. And so other objects are things like dues and fees, or judgments, or insurance payments, or indirect fees. And as you probably noticed, in July, the majority of our budget was paid in our objects, and that is solely for our PACE insurance liability. So our PACE insurance is a little bit over $180,000 for the year, and that payment was made in July. You're welcome. Are there other questions for me on the financial report?
Printing press.
We have a printing press? Maybe not on site, but I know a guy who might know a guy.
No.
Okay, thank you, Rachel.
Thanks, Rachel. You are welcome.
Superintendent report.
Oh, are we jumping into the
I think she's now on the board.
baseball?
Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay, so then the next item that we are discussing at a couple of the director requests are the 24-25 baseball ASB account financial report. So there is a large packet, and it has activity and all of the backup that goes with the activity. And I'm not sure what questions or what information that you would like me to share with you.
I would like to look this over and then maybe ask you some. That's okay.
Okay.
Since I just received this.
Yes, and I would like to also preface this report by saying that this is a really unusual request to get this at the board level, because there isn't typically a reason why we would pull one specific section out of our ASB reports. If we were going to look at ASB reports, we would look at everything on the whole. If there is anything that is not meeting what our accounting standards are, then it would be something that we would need to make sure that we are following board policy on, and making sure that we invite parties that are involved in this whole process to be able to discuss, because there has been no auditing, finding, or immaterial standard that has been broken on anything to do with our student body reporting. So I just want to make sure that we're really cautious about how we look at reporting when we're pulling out individual types of reports at a public session.
Rachel, is the audit usually cover all ASB accounts?
So the audit covers everything that is included in our adopted budget. So everything that is in the adopted budget includes our refundings, our transactions of revenue in and out for refunding, because that runs through our system, our student body accounts, both at the elementary school and at the high school. All of the transactions are included for that. Any of our scholarships or our foundational money that is put in, everything is covered under our audit. So if it is in our adopted budget, it is a required component of our audit, and it meets all of our standards.
So is it possible that sometimes, because the ASB accounts are constantly changing because of the fundraising and stuff, would it be possible that that line item could change after the audit's been done, and it wouldn't appear on the audit?
I guess I'm not really understanding your question. The audit is done. We are an accrual district. That means that we audit from not just July 1st to June 30th, but they audit through the end of the field work. So they audit for the fiscal year, but they also audit until the field work, which is usually sometime in September. So not only do they audit all of the transactions for the fiscal year as it closes out, but they also track it through that time of the field work. So if anything comes in later, that has to be tracked at the same time.
So it's my understanding that this was, I think John told me that this just recently came into the program. Is that, can you explain that a little bit? You said something about that they were entering all this information. Was it just kept separately?
So previously, the student body accounting for the high school, junior high student body books was tracked dually. So we had a software that was at the high school level that it was tracked there, as well as the overall district financial software, just because it was easier to maintain real-time records that way, and then at the end of the month when it was reconciled, then I would reconcile it as well in the financial software. And now it's all reconciled in the financial software at the district level only.
Can I just ask a question off of this, as far as like our baseball budget? So if our coach were to go in and ask, he'd get a copy of this, correct, to know what's in the budget as far as what we have available? There wouldn't?
Yes, that is correct. And anytime a request was asked, whether of the business manager or at the local office level, it was provided. And we have record of that being provided. So I think it's just a really good reminder also that, you know, we're all employees of the district. I mean, not me specifically because I'm a contractor, but we're all employees of the district. And this district, especially as we're losing enrollment, all wear many hats and all have to do a lot of different jobs. And so it's really easy to point fingers and frustration from either side when things aren't being done at maybe your timeline and maybe at your level. And it's really important to start conversations at kind of the base foundation and making sure to go up the hierarchy and the chain of command, because it's easy to have those frustrations when you're trying to juggle a lot of things at one time, and maybe things aren't going to be done at, you know, at your request or at your whim or when you want it. But there, you know, there are also things that are being done, maybe not to policy and procedure on both sides as well. You know, I have, and you can look at different reporting and you can see that there are times when policy and procedure, especially board policy, isn't being met, and purchases are made a month or 2 months before an approved purchase order is in the system, for instance, or, you know, funding is acquired, or fundraising activity has been approved or something like that. So it's really a good idea to have the conversations at a lower level so that we can look at all sides of it and figure out where our gaps are and have those conversations to make sure that we're meeting the needs of everybody when we're all wearing so many hats, and then it's really hard to meet the, you know, crossing of the T's and dotting of I's from both sides too.
Is there an official form that has to be filled out for public records?
The public records request? It doesn't have to be an official form, but you have to like send an email specifically requesting what you're asking for a public records request.
Not everything requires a public records request either.
Yeah.
Coming in and asking generally gets you what you need. If something is restricted in how we provide it, we would get a public records request just to cover our bases, but generally it's not even needed.
Sounds like Mr. Ewing needs to get a bigger coffee pot in his office, doesn't he?
Budget requests, I don't know.
He could share with me once in a while. I can use some coffee, that's for sure. I'd like to say that this is one of the districts that I really don't have to worry about when I'm getting ready for my audit prep, because we don't have findings. We have good records. We do what we're supposed to do for the audit, and I don't stress over this one. It's really, really nice to be able to know that our records are intact and we have what we need in place. And when I have to call the auditor, it's usually because they made a mistake, like on our CFA, when they made a mistake and put in a CFDA number of 83.367 instead of 84, so they have to send a correction to the state instead of me, so that's nice.
That's good to hear.
Appreciate it.
Any other questions on this topic, Rachel?
No, that's right.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, now we put it off long enough.
There's quite a bit here. All of these reports have been provided to you, and I'm going to try to hit them at the summary level, just for the purpose of keeping things moving along. Quarterly, you are going to get reports from the departments and the school buildings, so that they're not all providing a report every single month and flooding you, and so that you are still getting a regular amount of information from them respectively. So this month, IT and athletics were on our list. We see a summary of what is happening with the IT department. 50% of their workload is going through operations and support, 25% system administration configuration, with the remaining being security risk continuity, vendor technology management, documentation, training, and collaboration. The department has been restructured. We have one person working on the ground in the building compared to last year. There's contract support, we're getting quite a bit done. It's looking different, but you can see from the report that a lot is happening. Are there any questions that you'd like me to relay to them that would be needed for their next report in about 3 months?
The percentages, is that the times?
The amount of work time, yeah. And they're very good at operating on a health ticket system. And so the numbers of tickets and the volume of time it takes, because some are quick, some might take a day or so. So this is their estimation off of that. And I think all their work, they can track down to their health tickets and really zoom in on the details if it were needed.
This department also updates our webpage. Our webpage.
Gary, are you ready for me to?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I'm going to read parts of the next one just because it gives some positive mentions to some of our students, and I want to be sure that gets out there. The athletic report notes that we've had a good fall going on with some notable milestones at student and program level. The volleyball teams are performing well, having some strong matches and competitive play throughout their season. Football continues to build momentum. Most recently, in the last football game they won, every senior scored at least 1 touchdown during the game, and individual Landon Serrano scored 8 of those, or 8 in addition, so quite a performance. The volleyball senior night will be October 21st, the football senior night October 24th. Homecoming will be on the 17th, and then dance to follow on the 18th. In the cross-country realm, there were some standout performances by Kyle Dillahay and Alex Martinez, and at the Woahink Lake Invitational, while Vegas Lipke had a PR as well. And further in the report, we see that there's some demonstration of measurable progress going on, and looking forward to next quarter, there's going to be a priority to include increasing family engagement at home games, expanding junior high athletic participation to build depth, and the athletic department will also like to be emphasizing academic accountability, teamwork, and resilience as core values across all sports. Are there any questions you would like me to relay and report back? There it is. Report. Diving in then to the high school handbook review. We've had recent discussion in executive session that led to requests from the school board to update our co-curricular activity, athletic activity portion of the handbook. So you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages excerpt from that handbook. It actually starts out as cell phone policy, is the first page, but at the very bottom, the very last part is co-curricular. So pages 16, 17, 18, and 19 of the student handbook are provided, And quite a bit of stuff was removed to meet alignment with what the board had indicated as interests for change. And you may want to review this, and we may bring this back sooner because we want to have an active handbook for the students to be aware of and accountable to. We might bring this back after you've had a complete reading from your November. Bob?
On cheating, do we need to apply and have it written about ChatGPT or any of that? Are we finding that kids are doing that or using?
It is a slippery slope when you start accusing kids of using ChatGPT. There's been school districts that have lost their real butt because you can't prove it. I mean, they think you can, but
you know they're doing it,
individuals
right?
have sued districts because a teacher thought they used ChatGPT and didn't and couldn't prove that they did. But it is out there. We are aware of it, but to flat out go, unless you really have your facts, and there are ChatGPT checkers and indicators.
Okay.
But they change about as fast as everything else does. You know, the people that want to cheat are always one step ahead of the people trying to catch them. And so that's kind of the game.
I think what I'd like to throw out on this, if educators are interested in knowing what a student knows, they can sit down and have a conversation and have them do performance right in front of them. If we only ever rely on things that go home, come back, perhaps there's a question mark around that, but I think our staff are pretty aware that when they see the performance from the student or have a conversation with the student, that they know what that student knows, and that's what's important for us. So I think there are ways to manage this. We want to encourage academic honesty on all fronts.
Absolutely.
The cheating portion was not modified or addressed. It was strictly the co-curricular athletics part.
Okay, all right.
That's right. It was confusing because cell phones on the front.
But to
that's
that
later on the
end, I
agenda,
mean,
yeah.
you guys you got a handle on it, you can kind of figure out who's doing it, who isn't.
I think teachers do a good job of knowing who their students are and where they're at.
Thank you.
So as you review those 4 pages of that handbook, the intent here was to pull parts out that no longer matched with what the board was indicating as direction, and that this should represent a complete code of conduct, athletic activities, aspect of our student handbook, high school, junior high student handbook. So I realize that it might be unfair to ask questions right now, but we would like to get this wrapped up so that the students know this is what their expectations are.
Reading through this earlier, do we still have a shop club?
Yes, I think they meet once a week.
Yes.
Yeah. He's been going back, this is his 3rd year in a row?
Fourth.
We had shop club last year?
Yep. I believe the term the kids have nicknamed it is a Dr. Pepper Club because he does drive them with the Dr. Pepper if they show up, but it works. And that's fine with me, it's after school.
And the student announcements that we get in our emails, it lists the activities and stuff. And the shop is on there.
Any questions for John on this subject?
Nope.
Okay.
Okay, so number 4, Division 22 standards. This is an annual report that we complete. It's in, ODE reminds us every year. This is part of the Oregon Revised Statute. Oregon Revised Statute, you all know, is our laws for the state of Oregon. And Section 22, Division 22 are specific to education. So as you're looking in the document, it's sideways, it's got blue and white. over on the left side there, the 581's 022. 022 is Division 22. The last four numbers become the specific identifier for the individual dual and title. So going through, it's an exercise of the school every year to, school district every year, to assess, are we in compliance with the law? Are we out of compliance with the law? If so, what are we doing to fix that? Okay. I need to see where the other pieces. I didn't correct this. So as you're going through the report, made an effort to highlight areas where we are out of compliance, and when you have out of compliance areas, we need to explain what is the reason that we're out of compliance and to indicate what a corrective action plan is. The Department of Education does not fine us or put us in jail, so to speak, when there are problems, but they do have a very high expectation that we are making correction to any area that we are out of compliance. So in the right column, you will see a corrective action plan and timeline, and the intention there is that when are you going to fix it, and what are the steps you're going to take to fix it, and they're going to read these and they're going to check us. Have you done what you said you're going to do? I have to apologize because I know there's at least two more on this report. Yeah. So I'm looking at this, and this is not the right one. So just for explanation, that's what we need to look at, the process. Sharman, can we review the documents I've sent before the board can take action on it tonight? I need them to see the document, and I may have to ask for you guys to jump into recess for 5 minutes while I go if we can't find it.
I will look for it right now.
Okay, thank you, Sharman. So that's the expectation of the Department of Ed in us reviewing Division 22. It's a requirement that we report it to our board annually, report it to our community by putting it on the website and making this board meeting available so that the community is aware of what we're doing that is in compliance, is out of compliance. And the entire state does this, and it's my personal belief that if we ever say that we're 100% in compliance, we're not trying hard enough to figure out areas to improve. Because a lot of these laws have very high standards and very specific language that you could probably really drill in on, depending on your level of focus and what you're doing. So, any general questions or recalls from the previous report that I can maybe help with on this?
Correct me if I'm wrong, John, but didn't we do an asbestos report during all that tsunami? Why would we be out of compliance?
Our reporting is out of compliance. Every year, we're required to replace that, and put it on our website, make it available, and even though it hasn't changed, we have to update the report and get that back up on the website so the community knows that we're keeping up and paying attention. Some of these reports you test every 5 years, and so the 4 years after you test are going to be the same report, but you need to keep that information refreshed so the community knows you're not forgetting.
Request a recess so that you can help me find what I'm looking for.
Yes, Mr. Jones, can we get a recess here?
We'll take a 5 minutes recess.
All right,
she's very distracting for me. I just want to go, please, please.
Yes, I talked to all my classes about it today. A sophomore and a football player, why do you have to do it on the same day as a football game? You have games every Friday. I had done it on a non-Friday, and
Oh.
really excited, wants to go, but can't.
Yeah.
At the game. Okay, well, that's good that he's excited.
Yeah.
Tell all your friends.
She's doing okay.
Marilla is like, when I checked, they're like 50.
Oh, did ya?
Yeah, 1 point away from being a superstar. So, whoever got to see the super point, they gotta get a prize tag. Hiding what? Oh, that's fun. Yeah, we do. Yes, okay. I'll get my wheels a turn and see if I can think of something.
That's what I do. That's my breakfast. I don't know if I blended or what, but it breaks down smooth. The plant proteins are cut. So the plant proteins separates.
So it's not accurate on Frontline because.
The other day I went crazy, trying to blend it. Shoppers, drinking with homemade bread.
And we have to check it to make sure that it's correct at the end of the September payroll because that's when every person we verify at the end of September. It is not. Yeah, it's pretty expensive. Right, so my payroll person was trying to do payroll and update Frontline at the same time. And then she realized how far behind they were and stopped to get payroll done. And so she has a goal of doing that, but I don't know how long it will take.
I think they'll all try to work on that too, yeah.
Yeah, but you can look at items and see what her salaries were and her uses.
Show me that magic number.
John, you ready?
Yes, I am.
Call the meeting back to order, please.
I apologize, I did not check and pay attention. The new copies here contain 2 more areas of audit compliance. The 2,500 program service of tag students, and page 4, the 2115 part 2, the assessment of essential skills. So there should be 5 total where we are reporting to ODE that we have to take corrective action in our work either immediately or over the course of the school year so that we are paying attention to our Division 22 requirements correctly. I would entertain any questions, what you've had a moment to review. Talented and Gifted. And Talented and Gifted received a lot of updates to legislation 3 years ago. So there's a whole lot of additional requirements that go into that program now compared to what it was when I was teaching, and even typically, small school districts can't afford one person who does that work based on the numbers of students served, and typically either use an extra duty contract or they have classroom teachers kind of farm out the workload that needs to happen. Because of the amount of requirements that were updated and recently in legislation, you have to have one person coordinating it, so we do that locally with a stipend for extra work that person has to do outside of their normal work.
How many kids do we have?
The high school, the count is one. And a few at the elementary, but enough that there's more at the elementary.
So John, can you tell me what the assessments, local assessments were supposed to be for 24-25?
The last one that I remember using, Bonnie, was Raven. It was a Raven assessment, and I do not believe that is one we're using, and I can have to look that up and get it to you. Generally, a teacher has a sense of who they think might be tagged, and then we work through the process. And that's where having that tag coordinator, what are the allowable mechanisms to identify a student. And generally, it's students who are achieving the 98th percentile, or if there is a level of performance that's unusually high in a particular area.
Okay.
And that's where our coordinator helps us a lot.
I was looking at I was moving on.
Oh.
I was looking at the next one.
Gotcha, sorry.
Yeah, for the essential skills.
Oh, for the essential skills.
Yeah.
Work samples. We're supposed to be collecting work samples, basically 3rd through 8th or 11th grades, and keeping records, and we have fallen behind on that. I know the teachers assess their students, and we do it in their classrooms, but the maintenance of those and making that a focus and collecting those, passing them up to the next teacher at the next grade isn't happening. It needs to. We have enough professional development and work that teachers are doing around their lesson planning and assessing of their students that between Jerry and I, we need to be collecting those local samples and get back on track.
So can you tell me how long we've been behind?
Since
COVID?
At least last, I think some teachers do better than others, but at least since last year, we've identified this was an area that we've fallen behind.
Okay, all right.
And, yeah, yes, some teachers have definitely done better than others, but last year, that was something we needed to get caught up on and be doing better in.
I didn't know if there was a specific program.
Generally, you collect your work samples, reading, writing, math, science. So those teachers, but everybody's a teacher of reading, everybody's a teacher of writing. So you don't have to have just the English teacher doing all this work.
Right. Okay, thank you.
If we're looking to hire to resolve one of these out of compliance issues, are we gonna be able to hire before November 15th, so we'll be in compliance?
We found somebody who's going to take the stipend for a tag position. That's not a new hire. It was an extra duty contract, stipend work, and the assessments that we collect, that's the teachers we have currently. That's not an extra workload piece, and our tech department can help us getting those website corrections on those reports put up. So I don't think there's any hiring specifically that has to happen to get this work done.
Okay.
Outside of that extra duty contract for an individual.
And is there a program out there that would update these automatically so that it wouldn't have to be a hand search or done by hand? I mean, if nothing's changed or in compliance last year, why wouldn't the program just automatically register that as in compliance for this year?
I think it's still a good exercise, even when you're in compliance, to review what that law says you're supposed to be doing, and are we still doing it correctly? And to honestly sit down, the law says this, are we doing this? And to have those reflective conversations. When you get in compliance doesn't mean that something doesn't happen and you might fall out of compliance the following year, so it's always important to look.
Okay, thank you.
moving on to the English language learner report. This is another annual report that we provide. When I look at number 5 on the back side of the report, I notice a drop in the number of students at both the, not a drop. The numbers of students who we had at the start of fall of 2023 has increased to the spring of 2024, and moving from the elementary school to the high school, we see fewer students at the high school. This is a program where the goal is to help students exit, and we need to be sure that we are helping students shore up their base foundation, their base knowledge, so that they're able to complete the rest of the curriculum, keep up with their grade level peers. And in some cases, extra instruction or extra supports are necessary to help those students access the content and stay caught up with their classmates. But this program is always looking towards helping the students get caught up and exiting them from the program and pretty aggressive rates. This year, we are moving from having a single teacher do pull-out instruction to having to have our classroom instructors, all of our classroom instructors who have students who would fit into Title III English language learning, having them serve in the classroom by their classroom teachers. So our model in the school district has changed, and that's simply based on the number of staff that we can afford. This is an allowable way to do it. If we were a larger district, we might have multiple teachers serving multiple classrooms of students being supported by English language learning. So basically, your size determines how you go on meeting the model. A couple of acronyms in there, you'll see SIOP, SIOP is basically a method of making sure the instruction is properly presented to the students so that they can access the learning that you're providing. It's a system. OPA is a test that we give annually so that we can measure where the students are at and are they getting close to being exited. Any questions on that report that I can bring back next quarter with title reports again?
So the teachers that have the English BEL learners have been trained to administer those?
Several of them, and we've offered out the opportunity for training, and we're going to have to stay on that because when you shift your model from that singular teacher who has had all the training, you need to be sure that you're getting supports out to the others. So we've already offered sign-up training out this year. We've had a few teachers take us up on that, and we're going to have to continue for quite a while until we have everybody up to that level. It's going to take time. We're going to need to be diligent about it.
Thank you.
Moving on then to the cell phone policy, personal electronic devices. You have 3 versions of the exact same thing. You see the draft version that was originally presented to you. The second batch, hopefully with red strike-through language, excluding portions that you did not have, and languages in green that you selected. And the final copy, the 3rd page, is front and back, contains the cleaned up, ready to go version of the policy. And our hope is that this meets your specifications and could possibly be approved in action later in the agenda. Number 7, there is no written report provided in your packet. Just want to be aware, make sure that the board is aware and that this board meeting is aware that we are working very actively to do some hiring for our special education department. There's interviews coming up soon, and we will be going through and trying to fill positions. We've had some staffing changes. We've actually moved some folks around to try to rebalance our needs. So we're really paying attention to what's happening in special education right now. Anytime you have any shift and change, it's unfortunate. And one of our patrons tonight was correct. If you put change in front of students, and it makes it tougher for them. They have difficulties with that. So our goal is to have a consistent application, consistent person in front of our students as soon as possible, and make it the best person we can get so that our students can get back to being successful again. So
Have there been interviews conducted?
this week is coming up.
And we're hiring one, John, is that correct?
Right now, we have one position to fill in special education that is posted, and we have applicants for it.
So we're addressing the concerns of the community, that's not quite enough, right? We're just replacing.
We're replacing, and if you make any broader changes than that, you're borrowing Peter to pay Paul.
Okay.
What are you going to cut as a program or a staff position that is serving students perhaps in another area? Right now, the model we have, honestly, Bob, the entire staff of Bolton is working their tails off. And with the decline in enrollment the last year, and realizing that in the budget we adopted, we absorbed quite a few positions. And I think everybody in the building realizes that there is, when you absorb those positions, that the work didn't go away, there's just fewer people to do it. And that's the biggest challenge I think we're facing this year. Folks are working incredibly hard. The students still have the same positive and sometimes concerning behaviors, and the workload and the requirements of the state have not diminished one bit. And the fewer numbers of staff we have trying to do that, they're just having to work harder. And I appreciate every single one of them coming in every day and giving us now 110%, because that's what it's taking, and they're burning both ends of the candle. I see them going home at night very tired. So I would love to have 54 students and justify increased spending because we have a higher revenue flow. We would need that to be consistent. I would love to see more housing, we talked about in our work session, available where families are moving in and students are able to join us and be part of our school. We know that the reality of our community is over 70% retired. And it doesn't mean that retirees don't have children and grandchildren in their homes. It's just a little bit less likely. And when I was first here, we were 62%, 61%. It's gone up. And I worry that we're not going to get enough houses, enough homes, enough families fast enough to make a drastic change quickly enough that we're not going to continue to kind of go through some of these challenges where we want to have more supports available to us. But as long as Oregon continues to fund based on the numbers of students you have, and that's the model, then that's where we're going to have to live and die, is off of that student enrollment and finding ways to generate more students. And
are there any grants or anything out there that we can apply for to help with the special ed department?
I suppose that you can find small dollars essentially here and there, but remember 20% of our student population has an IEP, qualifies for special education in one form or another. The state limits us to being a payout at 11%. Which means 9% of that goes unfunded and goes directly against what money we receive, period.
the new ODE just needs to come down and take a walk.
It's, we're one of the highest sped population numbers in the state. We are in the top, I think it's 5% of the state. And that's the population we have, that's the students we serve, so that's what we're going to do. When there is a lack of money coming in for those things, and yes, could there be grants out there? Maybe, but is it going to be sustainable every year? Is it something we can count on? Is it enough to really be impactful, or does it just simply buy some supplies we can use for a couple of years with a one-time purchase? A lot of challenges because those federal dollars have a lot of requirements, and you have something called maintenance of effort that I really don't want to try to explain right now. It will take a long time, but those become very tricky aspects that we have to manage and balance, and that's why we have to have a special ed director and a business manager who operate as well as ours do. There's a lot to take care of, and I wish we had class sizes of 10, and I wish that we had 2 adults for every child. We could do so much more, and having to ask our staff to continually work as hard as we're asking them. They give a lot, we really need to appreciate that.
Sure.
Well, when David spoke in the community comments, he brought up about his son going to North Bend and doing so well. How can North Bend afford to take our kids instead of just, why couldn't North Bend give us the money and let us do our program here in their home school and improve the learning process for that child here and, somebody else? I mean,
we're not allowed to keep kids from leaving our district because we are a charter. We by definition of being a charter, have an open board. And if family says we want to take our kids somewhere else, they can do it. We don't have, if you're a public school district, you have to do an inter-district transfer. Both superintendents have to sign off and agree that we're allowing the student who is a resident to go to a non-resident district. We don't have a choice.
Not even for a sped kid.
Not for
How
anybody.
many sped kids does North Bend have?
I don't know that number. I'm going to bet they're between 11 and 20%, and they got quite a few more students than we do. I'd probably estimate probably 50%. That's a total estimate, and I'm going to be totally wrong.
Is there value in looking at reneging the charter and becoming?
I'm planning to have that conversation down the road.
Okay.
And I don't think with the stuff going on, we're quite there. There's a question about the pros and the cons of a charter. The biggest pro that we absolutely enjoy in Reedsport is the charter registry license. And when the charter was first coming in 08, 09, the ability to have your community come in with their specialized skills because of the work they do and teach classes, fantastic idea. And those charter registry licenses, we currently employ civil staff members who don't have a quote teaching license through TSBC, but they use this charter registry license to educate our kids and do a great job. And our kids gain a lot of value from those adults being able to provide that subject matter. So losing that, we would lose that ability to use adults that way. We would have to have a teaching license that is TSBC regulated, and it makes it more challenging to find classroom educators. So
like you said earlier, rob Peter to pay Paul.
Basically, at what point are the number of students we lose to an open border costing us money, the value that those charter licenses bring to our district? And remember, this is a long-term thing because if a teacher's here for 30 years, that's 30 years potentially of that license servicing our students and providing excellent work. It's a very challenging question that we're going to have to probably look at, and is on my radar for a couple months out.
Well, I've been on the board for 2 years and we've seen enrollment drop there. I don't see it coming back, to be honest with you.
In the seventies, this was a huge district with 1,000 students in it. And with the loss of industry and some jobs and a lot of families left for places to work. And now we are more of a retirement community. So yeah, we've seen a decrease overall in what we have for potential student population and actual student population. And the entire state realizes that the numbers of 35,000 students right now, students who have not returned to public schools
Since COVID.
Since COVID. And the ability to work online or do homeschool, I think parents learned how flexible education can be and their ability to have choice in that. Now, I'm going to say on the record I have a very biased opinion. I don't think most homeschools and charter schools serve students well enough, and I'll stand behind that. Some do it well. Some families have taken their kids and done great things with them. I think it's a very small number. I think the majority of them who do these online programs, homeschooling, are just letting their kids sit and losing opportunity. That's a biased opinion, but I do not think those programs serve as well as public schools do. But right now, parents have choice, and I don't take it away from them.
What's the percentage of teachers that have the charter?
5 and 10%. It's I know exactly who they are, but we don't discuss personality.
Right.
Yeah.
I just.
It's a small number. Yeah.
And do we know how many of our kids are not necessarily homeschooled, but going to other schools? Do we know that number, how many are in Elkton, North Bend, Florence?
If they've been there and never bothered to enroll with us, a sibling went there and so did they go, we probably don't know. Well, the numbers we know is when somebody leaves our district in the year, or there's a transfer request, or we can get some numbers, but I would hedge my bet on any number I provide. We can probably ask neighboring districts how many of your students are in our boundary and gain some numbers that way, but that wouldn't address any of the online, virtual, a lot of the online programs seem to be coming out of Eastern Oregon, so we'd have to know every district in Eastern Oregon and say, hey, where's the list? We do get a list. Virtual charters, we could probably ask, we probably would be close, but it may not be precise.
So I shared some data on enrollment with my ESD board last month, and our ESD region has the biggest decrease in enrollment of all 19 ESDs in the state of Oregon at 16.73%. He shared with you like last month. So North Bend has the biggest decrease in enrollment in our region of any of the districts. So they might be facing some big changes even with their SPED program as well. So, you know, it's all in fluctuation. So yeah, they do have a really, really strong program right now, but we're all facing cuts. And just Monday, we were told by ODE that we need to be planning for 2.5% to 5% cuts in all of our state grants for this year, for this biennium, because of the economic forecast and them having to pull money to make up the state school fund money. So if we're not done yet.
Anybody be a school board member?
It makes one more run away, doesn't it?
I want to encourage you that the work is important and it's hard right now. And just as hard as your staff are working to keep things going at the highest level possible, this work is going to get challenging. And you're stepping into a strategic planning process, and you will be hearing from the state about decreased revenue coming our way. And budget season will be trickier because we know we have increased needs for things we should be doing or supporting, and fewer resources to do it means it may not be possible. But if not you, then who's doing it? And you're in the seat, you were elected, or you stick with what we're doing, stability. And I know you were being facetious, Mr. Jones, but that our stability is going to be important, just like our staff stability.
Well, I had to say it, otherwise people are gonna see me crying.
Sorry, can I say something?
Yes, sir.
I know there are members of this community that would be willing to volunteer their time to help with special education. So I don't know if there's any way to contact or, ask for help. But I know my wife, even though she's no longer working for the school district, she does feel passionate about special education, and I'm sure there's other parents as well that would be willing to volunteer their time to help be an added support for the program.
Thank you.
Does the state determine what a special ed student is?
There are some definitions we need to qualify a student under, but those decisions happen as part of a team. Usually you have the school district, the family involved, and any necessary experts who can provide input.
So physicalities, right? But is behavior alone a special ed?
It can be. Yeah, there can be oppositional defiance disorder, or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. So those you might see manifested more in behaviors of students. And doctors are able to diagnose these things, and then those doctor reports become part of what we consider if the student is going to be in special education or not.
So the doctor determines?
Medical licenses in a lot of cases are part of the process.
Kind of.
Well, is there someone who has the final say?
Yeah, the district,
The team.
the team, the district. If there's a disagreement, then the district gets to make the call.
So we have our own team?
We have to work closely with the parent. Usually between the educators or the family, somebody has a concern about the child's learning, and we bring together, and nobody is operating politically as a silo here. And you want your input from the family who knows the child best, the educators who see the student the most in the academic environment, and then any other experts. If a student is deaf, hard of hearing, you need a person with awareness and can discuss audiology or other things. So you need to have the right experts in the right fields, along with the family who knows the child, along with the school who knows the academics with the child, trying to determine what is the best thing we can do here, what's necessary to get the student able to access their education.
So if a student is fed and all they have is an issue of behavior, is it, you can't put that child in the other students because he takes away from students in the class? I'm asking, I don't know.
Our hope always is.
Please jump in and educate me.
Yeah, our hope always is, it's called the least restrictive environment. You want to have an ideal where a student spends 100% of their time in the general education setting, the least restrictive environment. And every time you pull a student out or take them away from the general education setting and they're typically developing peers, you are actually restricting their education, because you say it's more important to help them meet a goal to get caught up to their peers. So perhaps the more you remove them, the more restricted you're being, the less time they're in general education, because they're focusing on special education. So depending on the complexity of the student and their needs, you might restrict more or less, and they'll have more or less time in their general ed room.
But aren't we doing the same thing to the SPED students because we don't have the resources to them?
Yes and no.
That's a tipping point, yeah.
Right.
Are you doing enough to serve the goals that we set for us?
Right.
Yes. finish with the good news of number 8.
Yep.
A year and a half ago, we signed an agreement with ADAPT out of Roseburg. They agreed to provide us a mental health counselor full-time for our school buildings. And in the last 2 weeks, they have finally met. They finally found somebody, they hired somebody who is now a full-time mental health counselor for our students in our schools. They do the billing, they handle the cost of what it takes to provide her. We just give them some space, and we do a little bit of help referring. Our students still go through ADAPT, which means their families need to be involved in signing them up, but it's on site, so you don't drive an hour and a half to your appointment, you spend an hour over there, an hour and a half back. You just the 45 minutes of school, but not the 3 hours of driving. I'm very happy to finally have a social, emotional, mental health person, expert in our buildings. Right now, the plan is to split them 2 days a week in each building.
Okay.
As they develop the caseload, but we can modify that if we're high school heavy, they might spend a third day or 2.5 days as necessary, but that's very exciting news.
Yeah, that's good news.
Which may decrease your special education referrals.
Anything else for gentlemen? About you? You're dreaming about going back and playing with that grandchild, aren't you? Thank you, John. Consent agenda. These are routine actions that typically require no discussion, such as the approval of previous meeting minutes and the acceptance of donations, frequently addressed collectively in a single vote by the board. I'd entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we accept the consent agenda as written.
Second?
Second.
Motion made by Bob, seconded by Bonnie to accept the consent agenda as written. All approved, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Passed unanimously, thank you. Action.
So all of these have been presented to you through report, but we're going to ask you to approve the Division 22 report as finally presented, the ELL report, and if you're of mind to adopt the cell phone policy. I will remind you that if we do not adopt the cell phone policy tonight, we have until October 31st of this year, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks to get it done. It would require another meeting to follow up.
Action item A, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to accept action 11, items A, B, and C.
Kim, you second? Motion's been made by Bonnie, seconded by Kim to approve the action items A, B, and C.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, we have to do these individually. We must take action individually in the action section.
Why?
Public meeting law?
It just provides clarity that you're thinking about and approving one item at a time.
Okay, no cookies for you tonight.
The reason that some items can be in consent is for that quick one, but items we have to do under action do require singular attention.
Bonnie, would you like to change your
Sure.
motion?
I want to change my motion to approve action 11, subsection A.
I'll second that.
Motion been made and seconded, made by Bonnie, seconded by Kim to approve action item 11A, the Division 22 Standards Compliance Report. All in favor, raise your hand, say aye. Aye. Passes unanimously.
I make a motion to accept number 11, action item B.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made by Bonnie, seconded by Kim to approve action 11B, the approval of English language learner report. All in favor, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. You're looking good for a cookie, Sherman. And Bonnie, you're on a roll.
Okay, I make a motion to accept action item 11C, approval of district policy JFCEB, personal electronics devices.
Second.
Motion's been made by Bonnie, seconded by Bob to approve the action item 11C, the district JFCB, personal electronic devices policy. All in favor, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, you can have a cookie, Sherman.
Thank you, sir.
Discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. I'd like to propose that we have a work session before our board meetings. Currently, we meet one before with John, which isn't a bad thing. But I think we have questions sometimes that, for instance, Bob, I might look at something and say, oh no, I'm not for this, but you might say, now wait, what about this and this? And that's something that I might not have thought about. So by bouncing ideas off of each other, I think it's good that we talk about it and discuss it. It also helps, I think, it's got to be a public meeting, public has to be invited. And I know we have a hard time getting people here, but it also, I think, shows that transparency. Because a lot of times we come in here and we go, yep, we approve, and everybody's like, why don't you guys ever discuss anything? I mean, it happens at the council too, and they do a work session also, but it gives people the opportunity to come. You can say, we discussed this beforehand, and if you're more than welcome to come, it's a public meeting. People, outside the community, they always wonder, well, how can you guys just read something and shove it underneath and move on? And, you guys just vote on it, rubber stamp it, and keep going. So I would like to see that, and I'd also like to see, I know we get some of the packet, but I think if we got the packet a little bit more beforehand, what was in there, then we wouldn't, if we did have questions, we would have them available. And I just think we need more time to review the packet, and it would be nice if we had time to discuss it, to bounce our ideas off of each other. So that's my proposal. I would like to move to a work session. I think John's always willing and open if we need to discuss with him.
So are you thinking about eliminating the one-on-one meetings with John in addition to this, or just keeping those meetings
I mean, we could do both if that's what what we wanted. I mean, because I know we asked John questions during his one-on-one, but that, that also goes to, then we come here and we've already had our questions answered, and everybody's like, well, why didn't you ask this? Well, I did, but it was in this private meeting, right? So the public doesn't see that we're actually putting the work in.
I can see a little bit of that, but with me, I'm so passionate about things, and as some of you may know, I'm not always the nice guy I appear to be up here. I get angry, and I find myself at my age now, and with the second round of cancer, I get angrier. And I want to know, I don't want to wait till a board meeting and have a whole bunch of people here. I want to know, I want to be able to ask the question, look the man in the eye, get the answer, and look for tells, because as an investigator, I look for tells to tell me if somebody's being honest or truthful or not. And I'm not saying that John's either one of those, but I just, I wouldn't feel good about in front of the general public asking the question in the way I might ask it, because my mom would come down from heaven and slap my mouth, or, because that's the way it comes out when I'm one-on-one with John. Not saying, I just am so worked up I worry about, some of us overloading ourselves on a Wednesday night, on a board meeting night, but I don't know. That's just my opinion, my thought.
I like the idea of work sessions, just I guess for us, to where we could maybe feed off of each other a little bit more, to where if Bonnie has a question, oh, same thing, but here's a little bit of a difference, or, something's mentioned that never thought of it that way, versus sometimes a one-on-one, it's just, there's no other interaction for ideas or anything like that.
So are you thinking that having the whole packet before, review it, and then meet with John, have him answer some questions, and we can probably have more questions to ask at a work session?
Right, and I mean, like, I mean, you guys are all retired, right? It's not a big deal for me to come and meet with you. There's some days that I can't do it. And, I've made everyone so far, it's just, I just feel like you might have a question that I haven't thought about, and it might change my mind on something that I would vote no about, when I really should be, I'm like, oh. So you might ask him, and I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that, point of view. So that, to me, then it might change my decision on what I'm voting on.
Are you thinking that it's have to be an hour long before the,
I
or
don't
maybe
think,
half an hour
I
maybe?
don't think with our agenda, as short as they are, that we would need an hour.
Yeah.
Oh, what, you wouldn't feel comfortable bringing that up in the discussions section of our regular meeting?
Like, in our action items, like right now?
Well, like you used the example of Bonnie having a question, you didn't think of that, you know, if Bonnie approached it in the discussion area, or you asked a question of Bonnie, you know, why we'd all be sitting here and
Yeah, I mean, I'm not afraid to ask a question at all, so that doesn't bother me to bring it up at any point in time.
well, it's something we could talk about, think about, weigh out, and converse and bring it back next month.
And on that note with the packets, is all this usually right? I know we get emails, because this is a lot of paperwork right here, and I would love to have more time to read over it all. I mean, so if we even got them on a Monday before the meeting, or something along those lines, is that a possibility to have our packets ready?
And I know the agenda changes.
I think a lot of the material does get sent out. We don't provide it through paper because we've been told that we don't need to do that.
I mean, because if it's being printed anyways, I would just bring it back with me, but I'm old and like the paper copy sometimes.
I do the same thing, I print them out at home.
It's just kind of nice to.
I mean, you could say your packets are ready on Monday, and if people want to come in and pick them up, they can come in and pick them up. If not, they'll be sitting right, Bob didn't want his will be sitting right here. If not, if I wanted mine, I'd come get it and bring it in and bring it with me.
And there is a strong willingness to come in and pick those up. And it won't just sit, because if they aren't going to be picked up, then I'm questioning my staff's time if they can be doing other things.
They're printing them anyways.
They are, but if they have a couple extra days to make them more complete, because we know we get that in at the last minute. And to give you the 80% done packet Monday, we have to remember, okay, she picked it up here. Since then, these items have been added, and remembering to account for, you need this material, you've got yours later, you only need this material, and there's tracking that goes into that. So that does create a bit of a work increase. If they're consistently picked up, we know if every packet picked up at this date at this time, and when there's a new item, we just need to get those consistently. Obviously easier to pay attention to. I want to be thoughtful about what the staff time is that goes into this. Right now, we've been emailing them, and you get the items, but it doesn't have the advantage of being paper. If you prefer the tactile piece, then we have to help them with that. Previous boards haven't wanted that, and email has been okay. If we go back to it, it creates a different workload, an expectation of remembering who got what.
Well, send it out email, we'll just bring our computers to the meeting. Have that same information. Pick up the packets, we have it on our.
Like Bonnie prints hers out, she said, just to,
Well, we'll have it here, I mean, getting paper copies here. I'm talking about for a meeting, we have it on our computers. So if you want to use a computer.
Well, and that's, I mean.
Dan's gonna show you how to use the computer.
It's bigger.
I currently don't have anything, like, I don't have my, Chrome connected to my printer, so I don't print them anyways, I just have to go off of and review that too, so, I mean, eventually I'll get that set up, but I just figured if a paper copy was here and available, even if they're ready the day before, I mean, I would happily come pick mine up so that I could review it and feel like I'm a little more prepared.
You get all this on your phone?
Oh, you can get it on your phone, yeah. You can get it however you want. Laptop, phone. Yeah. You want me to set that up for you later, Gary?
Stick around afterwards, we'll get you guys hooked up, Gary.
No, I'm probably gonna go home tonight and clear out to the ranch and get my phone off the feed bucket at the ranch, cause that's where it's at.
You gotta flip it open.
Have Sherry swing by and get it for me. Well, I think, this is gonna be another one to think about and discuss to bring it back on in November, guys.
A twist on your idea about having these prints, you have a cutoff for when any new material will be added.
Pardon?
You could put a cutoff, perhaps, of when any new material would be added, and no new material will be added to the packet if it's received within a week of the meeting. At which point, putting things together and saying, here's a packet, makes a lot more sense. And then you've got time to review, but then you might be missing out on things that do require a last minute adjustment. And I know a couple of these items that came in the last 2 days. So,
We currently don't have anything like that, so I could have come in today and it could have been changed today, the agenda too.
I think we received a donation was the most recent one. And so just, there always seems to be things that come in and we want to try to attend to people's, some of the stuff we have to do. We generally know what our requirements are and we get those in early. But there's just the other stuff that if you could establish an artificial timeline and say, we will not review anything new within a week unless, I don't know. And then at which point then does make it more feasible to not have to track what everybody does and doesn't have because we can produce an earlier packet. I don't know if that's as responsible because should you be considering some of the things you need at the last minute? I mean, I see a lot of elements here to go this good on. So.
Okay, action item. Or discussion, sorry.
We've had a student come give you a report from Rotary and on her experience at Camp Ryla recently. It was a nice presentation, and I think that meeting, there was a generated interest in, we don't have a student representative on the school board. Looking at policy VCBA, final part of your packet here, the high school leadership team would select a student representative. I don't know if you have any interest in reminding them about this or want to have any suggestions for them. Ultimately, it's a decision that group makes in the policy. We haven't had a student rep in quite a while. But there is policy and a provision for it. So for your discussion,
Do they have vote authority?
high school, no.
They haven't in the past.
Yeah, they don't have a board authority to make decisions, but they're a voice at the table and can discuss things with you.
So their school.
And it would be excluded from executive session.
Can they bring things back to the school and present what they've heard? Maybe report.
Could be a two-way communication.
Yeah, report there, yeah.
It'll come to me tonight.
If you pass along an encouragement to that school board, or, I'm sorry, to the student body. I would do that.
I'm for it.
Any preferences or recommendations or thoughts, anything I should add to that, or just, hey, would we like to have somebody, or?
Would it be ethical to maybe ask the Associated Student Body to look into the little gal that gave us the presentation on the Rotary?
I can probably wordsmith it fairly and correctly so that it's still their choice. But we can make sure that they know that you did receive a presentation that you thought well of.
I was, impressed with her presentation, and I think it'd be fun to watch her progress down that avenue. I was just asking Cindy because they have a student rep on the city council, and I was wondering if she would make it.
Taylor Shirai.
Yeah.
Oh, Taylor Shirai's the student rep? Oh.
Yeah.
That's
I
good.
couldn't think for moms, maybe you have Barry.
So you get a message to Mr. Euling and present that?
Done.
Any more community comments?
I have a question.
Sir?
Is it possible to arrange a meeting with the school board members to discuss things privately? Things that we notice that are going on within the school?
That would be pretty tough. Yeah.
The role of superintendent is to be the operations person for the board and to make sure that the information needs to be heard is understood. You could schedule a time to meet with myself. If it's specific to a building, you could arrange time to speak with the building administrator, and there are channels to kind of follow on that. But to just have time with the board, we have to meet specific elements of executive session, and that's public law, that what we can meet under it or not, and I can't imagine a channel that opens.
Yeah, I just think it's important that the school board understands and hears the voice of the community. And oftentimes it's a little bit difficult to go through the channels of the school district itself. So I just didn't know if there was an avenue there for the school board to be able to hear directly from the community without it going through the channels of the school district.
Well, isn't this the forum for that?
Yeah, I'm just saying in a more private setting, because I can guarantee you it's very difficult for a lot of people to want to be able to speak openly when we have the administration here plus other community members. So it's not to say that, John and Jerry and other, members of, the leadership in the schools, we don't, not necessarily say we don't want them there, it's just to say that if there are issues that are getting filtered out and aren't getting the attention that we feel like they are being needed to be addressed, I was exploring other options.
Well, as parents of a child in school, don't you have a right to understand what your thoughts are? I mean, as we do. That's part of the communication we were talking about earlier, right? We need to, as a community, we need to air the dirty laundry, so to speak. And everybody's on the same page.
Okay, under future agendas, HPO movie night and thought exchange is Thursday, October 9th at 5 p.m. And RCCS house night and thought exchange Friday, October 10th at 5:30 p.m. And then November board meeting is Wednesday, November 12th at 5:30 PM. And the strategic planning goal development board work session is on Wednesday, November 19th at 5 PM.
I have a question. Mr. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am.
These meetings that, I assume that the board was supposed to attend these meetings all this week, you know?
Not necessarily.
And, yeah, so, which makes me glad that I don't have to have my whole week tied up, but.
I think a personal recommendation, a professional recommendation, I would give members of the school board. These thought exchange and opportunities to interact with the facilitator are, she is setting time to meet with certain audiences, to meet with classified personnel, licensed personnel, elementary parents, high school parents, and she's targeting those groups kind of as a representative group. She got high school students today, she got the council on the board today. If we're there as administrators or board members, we sometimes provide a skew to the room, or perhaps people don't want to say everything that they would want to say. So I think I would perhaps discourage being there outside of the group that probably is most closely associated to you. Now remember, you've got the opportunity to do that survey, and we'll provide that to you. It took about a couple of days to get it done, but you don't need to be at all those sessions because she's going to bring that data to you on the 19th. So
Yeah, but we're gonna miss movie night popcorn.
And chili and cinnamon. Friday, that's Friday. Just thought I'd put it.
How rude. Missing chili and cinnamon rolls from the lunch lady?
Maybe you could talk to the lunch lady and she'd set aside enough for the rest of all of us.
John just said that to me after chili and cinnamon rolls.
Do we, that thing on October 22nd, is there a Zoom link for that?
That was the legislative road show or?
Yeah.
I don't think they have a Zoom on that. Let me look.
I didn't
That's
see
Oregon
one.
School Board Association.
But I know they had one at the last one we attended, so that's why I was wondering.
Regional. I can double check. I don't think so, but I will double check.
Thank you.
And how many of you are needing a ride down there?
I won't be attending.
Won't be attending. South Coast CSD, OSBA's annual roadshow, they come to you with information and it's two-way conversation.
I would like to know if Zoom is available first.
I don't think I'm gonna be here, I'll probably be in the woods, but I have service, so I can Zoom it.
Zoom option, question mark, and then Cindy, if there's not possibly needing a ride down.
I may drive myself because I don't know if I'll stay for the dinner. That's afterwards.
You know what?
I think it's in there.
Okay, thank you.
Kim, anything good to the order?
Nope, not right now, thank you.
Hope you would get a big one. Bob?
I will be gone on November 18th. Just so you know.
Okay.
And I have no questions.
Bonnie?
I expect I'll be here for the next meeting.
On a different note, the city in Main Street is holding a fall festival on November 8th. If anybody needs community service, Rosa could use it. November 7th setting up and November 8th actually working, helping it. So if anybody needs community service. I'm making my child go excited.
are having a scarecrow contest if the school board wants to, or not if the board wants to get on board because we're doing our own at the city, but if the school wants to get a scarecrow together, they're having a scarecrow contest, which is.
I think the deadline is it the 10th? The 10th is the entry form, and I think they're due on the 16th.
October?
Yes.
Like 2 days from now. So speaking of.
Oh, that, you just have to fill out the entry form. I did, and then
Fill
there's
the form out by
the
the 10th, and then you have to have the scarecrow by the 16th.
Speaking of the scarecrow contest, Reef is also having a Christmas tree.
Yes.
Oh,
decorating,
yeah.
Contest. I didn't know if the board was wanting to go in together to.
We're doing one at the city.
We are doing one at the city, but I like Christmas. We can do two.
It's a little early to be talking about Christmas. We haven't even got trick or treat done yet. I came back from the cancer center at OHSU today, and they already had a 15-foot blow-up Santa Claus on a building there in Portland, and me without a pellet gun. So,
My sister might already have her tree up, so it's fine. You just gotta take advantage and celebrate.
Anyway, I just thought I'd bring that up.
well, I think, to the high school and grade school, I think things are going good from what I see walking around and talking and whatnot. And, I know we have a lot of work to do, and it's not gonna be easy, and, you know, Rachel's gonna have to start coming up with some, you know, some money and, you know, but, I don't
I
know.
cracked a big loop, I guess I get to get cans and bottles.
Well, I got leftover Halloween costume from last year, you could go rub a.
I picked up 55 pumpkins yesterday and hand loaded them into my van and hand unloaded them into the warehouse today for you, so.
Oh, you did?
Oh,
Thank you.
I did.
Did you grow those?
What's
Did you
that?
grow those?
No, I picked them up from Rosei, and there was a miscommunication, there was supposed to be 3 boxes that fit in my car, and there was a pallet with a bin, they didn't fit in my car. So, it was fun, but we're gone.
Kathleen Miller and I went to Mahaffey Ranch one year to get them for the grade school. And I don't think Kathleen and I are friends to this day. So, yeah, we went to the pumpkin patch at Mahaffey Ranch, and it was tough. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that, thank you, folks in the audience for coming. David, thank you for bringing the information, and we're calling this